What's going on, folks? Welcome to another edition of Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, coming at you from the U to the Tube. So, we got a good bit to talk about. We had the go-home week for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT as we get prepared for SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver 36. So I'll do the rundown of both of those cards. Gonna talk not really much Stardom. I'll do a recap of the standings, but that's pretty much all for Stardom. Not a whole lot for New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. But this is mainly going to be a very heavy AEW and WWE episode tonight. So just bear with me. But let's go ahead and get started. So, unfortunately, with Stardom, there have been a handful of shows that have actually been canceled. Of course, due to the coronavirus. So, actually, tomorrow and Sunday show, so the August 21st and 22nd, those shows have been canceled. And then September 5th, I believe. September 5th, that show's been canceled. So just a whole lot going on just with the pandemic and, you know, the coronavirus and such. So it's hitting Japan pretty hard, unfortunately. But for Stardom, I'll just do another quick recap of the 5-Star Grand Prix current standings. So, the Red Stars, Starlight Kid is still at the top with 5 points. Mina Shirakawa, Mayu Iwatani, and Julia, all three, have 4 points. Natsupoi has 3 points. Koguma, Momo Watanabe, and Saki Kashima, all three of them have 2 points. And then Fuki Kendef and Himeka, still 0 points. For the Blue Stars, both Tam Nakano and Maika both have 6 points. Shuri, Unagi Sayaka, Utami Hayashishita, and Saya Kamatani, all 4 of them have 4 points. Azumi and Konami both have 2 points. And Ruoka and Takumi Iroha both have 0 points. So nothing really has changed. But hopefully they'll be able to resume matches this coming week. Probably, hopefully, Monday or something like that. But they did, I believe they did post the updated schedule. So actually, the 5-Star Grand Prix shows, so August 28th, August 29th, and then you got September 4th, 6th, 11th, 12th, 16th, 18th, 20th, 23rd, and then they still have the finals on the 25th. So two shows in August, and then the rest of the shows are in September. So they're going to be in a couple of different places. Nagoya on the 28th of August, the Shio Dome in Tokyo on the 29th, Shinjuku on September 4th, Korakuen Hall on September 6th, Shinjuku again on the 11th, Sendai on the 12th, then back to Korakuen Hall on the 16th, then to Osaka on the 18th, then back to Korakuen Hall on the 20th, then Toyama on the 23rd, and then the finals will be at the Oto Ward Gym. So, hopefully, nothing crazy goes wrong with this updated schedule. Hopefully, they'll be able to carry on with the remaining 5-Star Grand Prix matches. So, here's hoping. But that's pretty much all that I have for Stardom. And then a little bit of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Of course, earlier this week, we finished up the Super Junior Tag League. So the final results: Gato, Dick Togo, and Roppongi 3K, which is Sho and Yo, which are no longer together, both have 0 points. Tiger Mask, Robbie Eagles, and Ryusuke Taguchi and Master Wato both finished with 6 points. Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo and El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru both had 8 points, but in the tiebreaker, Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado were able to defeat El Phantasmo and Taiji Ishimori to win the Super Junior Tag League. So, funny thing is, Sho and Yo still had 2 more matches. Well, actually, technically 1 more match, which was against Gato and Dick Togo, but it ended in a double. It was ruled a double forfeit because on the August 16th show, Sho and Yo broke up after Yo was caught in a submission, and Sho went to the ring like he was going to help, but ended up not saving Yo, and then pretty much left him to lose. Then Sho came in, hit him with a shock arrow, and thus ends Roppongi 3K. Which, honestly, I am not surprised that this happened. I had a feeling with their continuous losing streak in this tournament, I felt like it was coming. I honestly felt like it was coming. I would have thought it would have waited until after their match with Dick Togo and Gato, but decided to do it 1 day earlier. But yeah, Roppongi 3K is no more. But it'll be interesting to see how Sho and Yo do as singles competitors, which was eventually going to happen anyway. But we'll see if they have like a face-off, a rivalry, storyline of some sort. But yeah, no more Roppongi 3K. Boo. So if Yoshinobu Kanemaru and El Desperado winning the Super Junior Tag League, one would believe that they will have the opportunity to challenge for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, which are currently held by Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo. So, definitely looking forward to that happening. But yeah, El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru are your 2021 Super Junior Tag League winners. So, good stuff, good stuff. Also, unfortunately, it's been said that both Bushi and IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Shingo Takagi both contracted the coronavirus. Yeah, that one's gotta hurt, especially considering Shingo's the top champ. But hopefully they'll be able to recover as soon as possible. Hope everything goes well in their recovery. But as far as New Japan, still got some more Summer Struggle dates to get through. Pretty much August 24th through the 27th. And then got to get ready for G1 Climax, because once September comes, they're going to start brewing up for the G1 Climax, which will be G1 Climax number 31. So that should be really interesting. But it's another big tournament. Another big tournament for New Japan Pro Wrestling. But anyway, that is all that I have for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Let's head on to AEW. And AEW has had quite a week this week. Going back to Dynamite. So first, this was in Houston, Texas. Started off with a Texas Tornado Tag, which, okay, let me rewind for a bit. Mox and Kingston were going to kick off the show, but got attacked by 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. And then got into the ring, and they were ready to face off against Sting and Darby Allin. And this was a Texas Tornado Tag match, so this was no disqualification, no tags necessary. So it's a free-for-all brawl. And this was Sting's first time wrestling on TNT in 20 years. So definitely a big deal there. And, you know, Sting hasn't really wrestled hardly many matches since coming to AEW. You know, just a few run-ins, a few brawls here and there, but not really much for matches. So add this to the list. And it was definitely back and forth. I mean, they fought all over the arena, up the ramp, and even Darby used a skateboard as well. But it was just back and forth. They tore each other up. And it came down to a double submission. A double Scorpion Deathlock on both Jeff Park and Matt Lee of 2.0. And a double tap out. So Sting locking in the double Scorpion Deathlock for the victory for Sting and Darby Allin. I thought that was pretty interesting. I didn't think he'd be able to get both of them turned over like that, but that was good stuff. That was definitely good stuff. Then they had a moment where Sammy Guevara got in the middle of the ring and proposed to his girlfriend, who said yes, so pretty cool. And then we had a match between Shawn Spears and Sammy Guevara, and I tell you, this was actually a really good match. Tully Blanchard got ejected from ringside during the match. Like Aubrey kicked him to the back, but this was like back and forth. This was very, very good match. Definitely a very good match. Even Sammy Guevara hit a 630, and even after hitting the 630, Shawn Spears still kicked out. It was crazy. It was definitely crazy. But after a couple of knees and a GTH from Sammy Guevara, was able to put away Shawn Spears. But man, that was quite a match. That was definitely quite a match. I was digging that match. It really could have gone back and forth. Or I'm sorry, it really could have gone either way. It was back and forth, but it really could have gone either way. But that was quite a match. Even was able to get in a kiss, another kiss to his fiance during the match. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, congratulations on the victory for Sammy Guevara, as well as his engagement with his girlfriend, now fiance. You had a segment backstage with, my dad likes to call him Turkey Neck, Don Callis, chatting with Christian Cage and pretty much trying to, patronize him, butter him up. But of course, Christian Cage wasn't buying any of it, as expected. So, still hyping up for his match with Kenny Omega at All Out for the AEW World Championship. We had Dan Lambert from America's Top Team appear again, and he was in the ring with UFC fighters Junior Dos Santos and the Pitbull Andre Arlovsky, somebody that I've watched for a long time. I actually like him. But yeah, and he started talking smack about pro wrestling and the pro wrestling fans and just taking shots at AEW. And of course, Lance Archer comes down, was looking to do what he did last time. That Dan Lambert was talking smack, and Lance Archer came down and shut him up. But this time, he had backup. Dan Lambert had backup in the form of All Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky ambushing Lance Archer. So, I don't know. For Dan Lambert talking so much smack about pro wrestling and AEW, certainly was laughing and digging at Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page beating down Lance Archer. But, you know, two wrestlers beating down Lance Archer. But, Then we have the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. The Young Bucks defended against Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus of Jurassic Express. Now, don't get me wrong. This was a good, entertaining match, but this match was overbooked like crazy. This match was overbooked like crazy. There were too many moments where it honestly seemed like you would think that Jurassic Express would end up getting this. And it was just crazy. A lot of interference, steel chair. You know, Kenny Omega tried to interfere. Christian Cage tried to come down and even things out. But this match, while it was good, it was extremely overbooked. Extremely overbooked. But when it was all said and done, Jungle Boy ate a BTE trigger and was able to pin Jungle Boy. And the Young Bucks, still your AEW World Tag Team Champions. So, that was my only thing. Just, it was an incredibly overbooked match. And then we had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, have a backstage interview. Had Rebel and Jamie Hayter there. And apparently this ended up leading to a match announced for next week on Dynamite, Red Velvet versus Jamie Hayter. So this ought to be really, really good. So looking forward to Jamie Hayter returning to the ring for some action. And then this next segment was, I'm not going to say it was cringe, but I don't know. It really wasn't one that was needed. But Paul White came down and pretty much got on the mic, had an interview. And then QT Marshall came down with Aaron Solo and Nick Camarado. And pretty much was trying to poke fun of Paul White, saying that, you know what? I know where this is going. You know, this huge announcement. I know where this is going. But, you know, you've got these surgeries. You've had these injuries. There's no way you would be cleared to even wrestle. And you really shouldn't be. So, you know, you got hired to be an announcer, a commentator, whatever. You are not here to wrestle. It's not happening. But, hold up. Paul White has a little surprise for QT Marshall. As a matter of fact, he had a talk with Tony Khan, and Paul White is going to be wrestling at All Out in a match against QT Marshall. Now, I mean, that's all well and good, but honestly, we really don't need this match. We really don't. We really don't. I'm sorry, but I'm just not excited to see Big Show, aka Paul White, wrestle again. I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm not really all that excited to see him wrestle again, especially not against QT Marshall. But we'll see how it goes, but it's not really a match I'm looking forward to. And then Tony Schiavone informed the Elite, especially after the World Tag Team match happened, that there will be a Tag Team Eliminator Tournament that will involve Private Party, Varsity Blondes, Lucha Brothers, and Jurassic Express. And the winner of this Eliminator tournament will face the Young Bucks at All Out in a steel cage match. So it won't be just any match for the tag titles. It'll be a steel cage match. So good stuff there. You also had Taz in the ring with Hook. Welcomes, calls out Ricky Starks, the FTW World Champion. And then he calls out Brian Cage. But cue the camera to backstage, and Powerhouse Will Hobbs has taken out Brian Cage. Or so we thought, because Brian Cage ended up fighting back and was able to hold his own to the point where Taz, Hook, and Ricky Starks was like, wait, he's fighting back. We better get out of here. We better get out of here before he takes out Will Hobbs and then comes after us. And then, of course, they ended up running like cowards. We had a pretty decent women's match as Penelope Ford went up against Thunder Rosa. It was a pretty good match. It was definitely a pretty good match. And I definitely, I'm always big into seeing Thunder Rosa wrestle. And ended up winning by submission. Penelope Ford went for the Indian Deathlock that she usually is a way that she submits her opponents, but Thunder Rosa was able to counter it and got her in a submission, made her tap out. So this was definitely a good match. Definitely, me personally, I would love to see Thunder Rosa go up against Chris Statlander. That's a match I hope at some point happens. I want to see that match. But this was a pretty good match. This is definitely a pretty good match. But I really want to see Chris Statlander versus Thunder Rosa. I think that would be really good. And then it's been announced backstage with Arn Anderson and Brock Anderson that Brock Anderson on Dynamite will be going up against Malachi Black. Oh man. Wow. That's yeah. Well, good luck, kid. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. And then we have the main event. So the main event was the fifth and final chapter of the Labors of Jericho, where Chris Jericho goes up against MJF, the final boss. Stipulation: no Judas entrance, and he cannot use the Judas effect finisher. But the no Judas entrance and music did not really do any damage, because the crowd there in Houston, Texas sung the entire Judas entrance as Chris Jericho was making his way to the ring. I mean, the crowd was clear and loud. You even had fans in there that had signs up with the actual lyrics to Judas. Like, it was amazing. It was so amazing. And you could tell Chris Jericho was loving it up. Smiles the entire time. He was loving it up. So, mad kudos to the fans for really coming up strong, singing the Judas entrance theme for Jericho. That was awesome. Very, very awesome. That Houston crowd was all into it. Now, as far as the match, I mean, the match was definitely back and forth. Some close falls here. MJF went to work on that arm of Jericho, which totally not surprised. Got to see Jericho pull off a lion salt. There was a couple of times, I think twice, that MJF had the salt of the earth locked in on Jericho. Even hit Jericho with the Heat Seeker. But gotta give him credit on this. Not only did he do that, he even put Jericho into the Lion Tamer, aka Walls of Jericho. His own submission. He even tried to lock it in. But Jericho did not tap out. He was able to get to the bottom rope. Now, of course, Jericho was able to get a hold of the bat and hit MJF with it. And he was going to hit him with the Judas effect, but then he stopped middle of the way and realized, wait a minute, I can't use it. I can't use it. But that moment of hesitation was enough for MJF to get Jericho back into the Salt of the Earth submission. Oh, MJF even hit the Judas effect on Jericho, then applied the Salt of Earth. And Jericho tried his best, but ended up tapping out. And MJF seals it, defeating Jericho in this 5th chapter. Now, I know a lot of folks are probably upset about this outcome, but you know what? Word is that Jericho is getting ready to go back on tour with Fozzy, with his rock band. And honestly, I figured MJF was going to get the victory, to be honest with y'all. Like, this was to put MJF over, not so much as passing the torch, but puts it into this rivalry as MJF continues to rise more and more and more. Because he's going to keep rising more and more and more. So, honestly, this was the right call. This was definitely the right call. Having Jericho lose, he did the deed. He did the deed. It was a good match, and he did the deed. He didn't just get pinned, but he submitted. He tapped out. So, gotta give it up to Jericho for that. But it looks like Jericho's getting ready. Fozzy's getting ready to go on tour. So, he may be taking some time away from AEW to do that. But we'll see. We'll see. But that was Rampage. Or excuse me, that was Dynamite. And then AEW Rampage. And oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, all the speculations, all the rumors have now been confirmed. Not just confirmed, but it kicked off AEW Rampage, the first dance, at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois. Yes. To what may be one of the biggest pops in pro wrestling history now. It's a fair argument. Cult of Personality hits. Out comes CM Punk to open AEW Rampage, the first dance. Yes. Yes, yes. CM Punk is officially all elite. And, you have to also keep in mind, it's been 7 years. It's been 7 years since CM Punk was in a wrestling ring. And he was feeling it. The crowd, there might as well not have even been a roof at the United Center tonight. The crowd showed themselves, and CM Punk was loving every bit of it. He even kind of teared up a little bit. There was even some fans that teared up. And of course, CM Punk showed his appreciation, gave some high fives, even did a dive into the crowd, which, he couldn't resist. He couldn't resist. Hugged a couple of fans. He was like, shoot, bump the pandemic. I'm going to hug some of these fans. But, yeah, CM Punk That was a long entrance. It was to the point where they had to cut to commercial, come back, and then he was finally in the ring. But yeah, CM Punk got on the mic and just, showed his appreciation, and it was just good to get him back there on the mic. And he took his hoodie off, showed off his new CM Punk Best in the World shirt, which became available on shopaew.com. So it's crazy thing about it is the website kept crashing because so many folks were trying to buy that shirt. And then there was a Twitter post of how long the line was for the merch stand to get that CM Punk shirt at the United Center. It was crazy. It was so crazy. I think the line wrapped around a couple of areas inside the United Centers. It was just crazy. But, and one of the main things, he didn't say specifically, but, from what he was saying, WWE killed his love of pro wrestling. Plain and simple as that. And what he felt tonight was in a way kind of what he felt, when he had his last match in ROH in 05, which a couple of my friends said that last match he had was against Tyler Black, aka Seth Rollins. But I mean, WWE killed his passion, his love of pro wrestling. And apparently, Renee Paquette, aka Renee Young, had vouched to get him part of WWE backstage, but that just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. So it's just really good to see CM Punk is now at a promotion where he can truly be himself, where he can have a voice, and that he can be a part of something, not just in the ring, but also backstage as well. And I have no doubt that Tony Khan is fully sold on CM Punk doing that, being himself, doing all of that. And then, of course, Darby Allin and Sting were watching in the rafters, and CM Punk called him out and pretty much said, I will see you September 5th in Chicago at All Out. And it looks like we're getting CM Punk versus Darby Allin at All Out. And you best believe it's going to be fire. And then, of course, he threw in everybody gets a free ice cream bar on me. Thought that was cool. You had to throw that in at the end. But yeah. And that's the thing. A lot of pro wrestling fans tuned in tonight specifically hoping that we get a CM Punk sighting. But we got more than a CM Punk sighting. They opened Rampage with CM Punk. It was amazing. It was amazing. But I have to say, this was definitely a big, big win for AEW. And you best believe Vince McMahon's got to be pretty pissed. I can't wait to see what the ratings and the viewership was for Rampage tonight, because I imagine a high number. But, I mean, it was a sold-out United Center. But, had a couple of matches, though. We had Jon Moxley go up against Daniel Garcia, which was actually a pretty dang on good match. That was actually, I believe that was the main event. That was actually the main event, so let me backtrack. Let me backtrack to the tag team eliminator semifinals, which was Private Party versus Jurassic Express. And it was definitely a great match. Definitely a great match between these two teams. A lot of great chemistry. But ultimately, I forgot what the name of Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy's double team finisher was. I totally forgot what the name of it. Somebody has to remind me of it. But they were able to get the victory and advance in the Tag Team Eliminator tournament, which, like I said, the winner of this Eliminator tournament goes to All Out to face the Young Bucks for the tag titles in a steel cage match. We also had Kiera Hogan versus Jade Cardgill, which, honestly, I'm kind of bummed that Kiera Hogan is now 0-3 in AEW, but, you know, she's going to keep getting time. She's going to keep getting matches, so at least that's a good thing. But Jade Cardgill, once again, with another victory, hitting Jaded on Kiera Hogan. But expect to see more Kiera Hogan. I have no doubt we'll be seeing more of her. And then the main event was Moxley versus Daniel Garcia. And I have to say, I'm starting to like Daniel Garcia more and more now. Dude, definitely. I wouldn't mind seeing him and like CM Punk go at it. You know, just Daniel Garcia, I think he's going to be something really, really good in AEW. Keep an eye on him. You know, him and 2.0, definitely keep an eye on them. And of course, Eddie Kingston was ringside with Moxley. But this was a great match. Definitely back and forth. Of course, Mox ended up getting the victory. Ended up getting that bulldog choke on Daniel Garcia. It looked like Daniel Garcia kind of had Moxley for a bit in that, I believe it was an ankle lock or something like that, but was able to eventually reverse it into the bulldog choke and get the tap out victory. I mean, he had it cinched in, like, he had it cinched in real deep. And of course, 2.0 attacked Moxley and Kingston as well. And it seems like they have the upper hand. I mean, it is a 3-on-2. But then Darby Allin and Sting come down for the save and help clear house of 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. And those four stand tall to close the show. Darby Allin, Sting, Mox, and Kingston. But, yeah, short but meaningful because of the CM Punk arrival. And it was also confirmed that CM Punk will be here this Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. So I have to see what they do for Dynamite for CM Punk, which I believe will be in Milwaukee, if I remember correctly. I think we'll be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But yeah, CM Punk gonna make his first appearance on AEW Dynamite. So definitely looking forward to that. But CM Punk is all elite. Okay, now for WWE. Yeah, the go home shows were I mean, go home show was full of rematches. It was definitely full of rematches. I mean, had AJ Styles versus Riddle. I mean, AJ got the victory, but yeah. Rhea Ripley versus Nikki Ash, ASH. That happened again, and Rhea Ripley got the victory. So once again, your Raw Women's Champion pinned in a non-title match. Drew McIntyre went up against Veer and Stanky again. Oh, I'm sorry, Shanky. And pretty much busted out the sword again. And just another jab at Jinder Mahal, which they have a SummerSlam match, which I really don't care about. The Miz is pretty much wrestling again. He's back in wrestling again, which apparently he had been cleared for weeks, but still ended up losing to Damian Priest. You had Mansoor get a victory over Mace, which 50-50 booking, just back and forth. Then you had Randy Orton versus Omos, which ended in a DQ. But as AJ Styles and Omos were beating down Orton, Matt Riddle come down for the save. And even though Randy Orton wasn't really big about being a tag team with Riddle, he has said to Riddle that because of his persistence, he has earned his respect, and therefore RK Bro is back, which leads to them getting a tag title shot, a Raw tag team title shot at SummerSlam against Omos and AJ Styles. Whoop-de-freaking-do. Karrion Kross had yet another match with Jeff Hardy, and once again defeated Jeff Hardy. Got him in the cross jacket. And then you have another women's match where Charlotte Flair teamed up with Nia Jax, of all people. The same Nia Jax that's hurt her pretty badly before. And they went up against the team of the Raw Women's Champion, Nikki Ash and Rhea Ripley. And once again, Nikki Ash on the losing side. So that's twice in one night that she's lost. Once in a singles match and once in a tag team match. And this is your Raw Women's Champion. How does any of this make sense? How? You have your Raw Women's Champion lose in 2 matches in one night? Really? And then the ending segment was Goldberg taking out Bobby Lashley with a spear, which was a spear without even a running start. So it looked weak. It looked really weak. But and that's pretty much your go-home show. Doudrop getting slapped like crazy twice, I guess, was kind of funny. But yeah, Raw was just... But that's your go-home show. And not to mention, word is, in regards to Asuka, the reason we haven't seen Asuka in weeks is because literally WWE has nothing for her. Vince has nothing for her. Apparently the word is that she showed up to Raw and then got sent home. It's like, hey, we have nothing for you. One of the best wrestlers, a Grand Slam champion, and you have nothing for. You have nothing for her. You have nothing for Naomi. You have nothing for Liv Morgan on SmackDown. But yet, you got all these. Don't have anything for Shayna. But you'll keep having all these segments and matches with Eva Marie and Doudrop. Which no offense to Doudrop. Doudrop's a great wrestler, but she's partnered with Eva Marie. So it's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. And honestly, it wouldn't be surprising to me if Asuka ended up getting released. And rumor is that she could be getting released. And honestly, it would not surprise me. It'd be a big disappointment, but it wouldn't surprise me. It really would not surprise me. NXT. So NXT was an interesting show. So we were supposed to have Kushida versus Roderick Strong, but the word was that he wasn't medically cleared. So Roderick Strong ended up facing Ilya Dragunov. And this was a good match. This was definitely a good match. I don't know how Ilya Dragunov got that injury. Like, he got a cut and was just bleeding like crazy. Got a cut across his eyebrow or forehead or something like that. But this was a good match. Was able to take out Roddy versus the World with a torpedo Moscow. And yeah. Not only that, but I still would like to see Roderick Strong versus Kushida eventually, once I guess Kushida's cleared. But still, this was a good match. This was a good match. Then Cameron Grimes went up against Josh Briggs and beat Josh Briggs. That was crazy. I mean, it's kind of feel for Josh Briggs because I like Josh Briggs. I watched him quite a bit in Evolve. But Ted DiBiase was with the commentary team watching, and LA Knight, of course, was there. And after the victory, LA Knight cheap shotted Ted DiBiase, and then cheap shotted Cameron Grimes. So yeah. More buzz as they get ready for their $1 Million Championship match at TakeOver 36. This next match was very entertaining. You had Index. That's right. Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis team up to face Jesse Kamea and Robert Stone, which Robert Stone came into the ring with gear looking like a knockoff. I mean, had like the hair tied. He kind of looked like a knockoff Vega from Street Fighter without the mask. Just, yeah, definitely not as tall as Vega. But yeah, he looked weird. But Index, even Indy had like the face and pretty much mimicked Dexter Lumis's entrance. I mean, getting into the ring, doing the arm crawl or whatever that crawl. I think it's like a combat crawl or something like that. Did that as well, and just these two are in sync. Even locked in silence. Both locked in silence to seal the deal. And Indy got the tap out victory for Index. And yeah. Frankie Monet was there, but she got ejected, which, yeah. I don't know why she's even still associated with this group. I would have thought they completely went ahead and ditched Robert Stone by now, but I mean, storyline, so yeah. You had Duke Hudson versus Carmelo Hayes. You had which is the other semifinal match in the breakout tournament. This was back and forth, but once again, Carmelo Hayes was able to get that flying Famouser. And the finals of this tournament, which will be next week, will be Odyssey Jones versus Carmelo Hayes. So we got the brothers duking it out in the finals. And I believe the reward is still you get a future NXT championship opportunity. So definitely looking forward to this match. See how these two styles clash. You know, you got the big dude, the big powerhouse versus the high flyer. Should be good. It should be really good. You had a couple of vignettes, a couple of promos. You had Ridge Holland calling out Timothy Thatcher. You had JC Jane, who had been partnered up with Gigi Dolan. So you had a couple of segments there. You had I almost forgot. So Indy Hartwell went over to Beth Phoenix after their match, after the tag team match, and got an engagement ring and proposed to Dexter Lumis. And of course, Dexter Lumis nodded his head yes. They embraced, they kissed, he slipped the ring on, and bam. So she was determined to get her man. But yeah, Index, engaged. Have to see how this storyline goes. We had Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez interview, one last interview. And it was straight fire. It was definitely straight fire. And I am looking forward to these ladies going at it. And honestly, y'all, don't be surprised if Dakota Kai pulls it off. Don't be surprised. We had a segment with Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma where pretty much Santos Escobar was like, you know what? I got your grill. Just come get it. I'll be waiting here. I got your grill. Just come get it. So Swerve he went by himself to go get it. But of course, you knew it was going to be an ambush. Swerve saw it coming. Went to the outside of the arena. Got ambushed by Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. And then the rest of Hit Row came to pretty much back up, reinforce Swerve. And they were able to get the upper hand, and Swerve was able to get his grill back, and they teamed up and beat the crap out of Santos Escobar. Even the lady, I forgot the lady's name with Hit Row, had a pipe, used a pipe. So she had the ultimate equalizer. But yeah, Swerve got his grill back. I would love to see them have North American Championship match at TakeOver 36, but it's not on the card. You had one last look at Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole 3. They did a prime target of that, which was pretty cool. You had Io, Shirai, and Zoe Stark backstage interview. Still, Io Shirai dogging out Zoe. Doesn't like her. Don't want to be friends. It's all about the tag titles. But yet, when are we going to see them finally defend the tag titles? Like, what are they waiting on? Like, Casey Catanzaro, Caden Carter. Like, they're just doing this female version of Team Hell No with Zoe Stark and Io Shirai. And it's I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's not entertaining, but it's like, come on now. Like, you got two very great wrestlers teamed up. They haven't wrestled since they won the tag titles. It's been a while. It's like, when they gonna finally defend them? So it's like, come on, they got to get a ball on that. And then Samoa Joe came down, called out Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross came out, had security, but that did not stop Samoa Joe from attacking. Did a suicide dive, took out the security, and these two just brawled for a bit and ended up taking out each other to the point where both went through one of the glass barricades and they were both down. And that's how the show ended. But very heated exchange, that's for sure. But that was your go home show for NXT. Pretty good, pretty interesting. NXT UK. You had two title matches. You had the NXT UK Women's Championship and the NXT UK Tag Titles defended on this episode. So pretty dang on good episode. You had Meiko Satomura, who was actually accompanied by Millie McKenzie, ended up defending the NXT UK Women's Championship against Stevie Turner, aka Bobby Tyler. She was Bobby Tyler back in Stardom when she used to be part of Tokyo Cyber Squad. Um, this was a good match. This was actually a good match. Stevie looked good. Stevie definitely looked good in this match. And it was back and forth, but it was Meiko Satomura locking in an STF onto Stevie Turner to get her to submit, and Meiko Satomura with another successful defense of the NXT UK Women's Championship. So, yeah, another defense in the book. Have to see. I would like to think that when Aoife Valkyrie and Jenny have their no DQ match, I would think the winner of that match will probably be a front runner for a shot at Meiko Satomura for the title. And then let's not also forget Blair Davenport. You know, they're going to keep building her up, and she's going to get her opportunity. Don't know if we're going to see Kaylee Ray again. I've heard word that she's been backstage at SmackDown. So I don't know if she's going to end up debuting on SmackDown or what. But don't know if we're going to see Kaylee Ray again on NXT UK. Ever since she lost the title to Meiko. Had a pretty hard-hitting match between Saxon Huxley and Eddie Dennis, and Saxon Huxley was able to pick up the victory. But, of course, afterwards, with the help of Symbiosis, Eddie Dennis was able to hit that high razor's edge, pretty much. And, yeah. We had Isla Dawn versus Dani Luna, which, honestly, I feel like this is like one of the first wins for Subculture. Maybe it's just me, but Dani Luna and Isla Dawn was actually good. It was actually pretty dang on good. Got her with a power bomb for the win, but also Isla Dawn got a clip of her hair, of Dani Luna's hair. It's like green hair or something like that. Got a clip of it. But here's the thing. I would like to see Isla Dawn like in some other matches where she's getting victories, because honestly, with her gimmick and she's losing match after match, it just doesn't look good for her gimmick. It really doesn't look good for her gimmick. But I mean, you know, Dani Luna got the victory, and you know they got to keep booking her. You know, as, you know, the female member of Subculture. But I would like to see Isla Dawn get back on to her winning ways. Just with her gimmick, I just feel like it makes more sense. And then you had a really excellent NXT UK Tag Team Championship match. Pretty deadly, defending against Mustache Mountain. Which, I mean, this match was excellent. Was back and forth. I mean, there were a lot of close calls. And even Stoker, I think it was Sam Stoker, ended up kicking out of the Tyler Driver 97. I was like, what? So that was a big boost for Pretty Deadly. If anything, that really makes them look really strong. With Sam Stoker kicking out of the Tyler Driver 97, wow. But it was definitely a very great match. And the crazy thing about it was Tyler Bate was locked in with a half crab, and Trent Seven was there on the outside. And then Lewis Howley throws in the towel, which the ref thought that Trent Seven threw in the towel, which wasn't the case. And then while the distraction was going on and Trent Seven was arguing with the ref, Lewis Howley comes in with one of the tag titles and hits Tyler Bate. And then they hit Spilled Milk on Tyler Bate. 1, 2, 3. So, of course, Pretty Deadly had to cheat, which makes sense. For a strong team like Mustache Mountain, they had to cheat. But at the same time, they look really strong, especially after kicking out of the Tyler Driver 97. So, yeah. But we'll have to see what happens now. I mean, that was a big victory for Pretty Deadly. So we'll have to see what happens, like what direction they take for who will next challenge for the NXT UK tag titles. But definitely a good episode of NXT UK. And then Friday Night SmackDown, which, I mean, I guess was okay. Edge gave a really epic promo on Seth Rollins. The burn you down promo, and man, Edge is really good on the mic. When he really gets into that anger mode, that really locked in mode, Edge is gold. Edge is gold. Once again, more Mysterios versus the Usos. This time it was Jey Uso versus Rey Mysterio. Blah, blah, freaking blah. You had Baron Corbin versus Kevin Owens. Baron Corbin still in possession of the Money in the Bank briefcase. Had the match. Big E came by, was looking to get his briefcase back. Attacks Baron Corbin, which means, Baron Corbin wins by DQ. Big E grabbed the case and it looked like he was going to walk away with it. But Baron Corbin shoved him into the ring post, got the briefcase, ran like a coward. Honestly, y'all, this is getting really annoying because I just got a feeling something's gonna happen where Baron Corbin is gonna end up trying to cash in that briefcase, mainly because he has it in his possession. Or something stupid like that. I really don't like this. I really don't. You had Shotzi and Knox go up against returning Natalya and Tamina for a championship contender match, which oh man, Shotzi was able to get the pinfall, the roll up on Natalya, the 1, 2, 3, and Shotzi and Knox once again get the best of Natalya and Tamina. And it looks like they're going to be able to have a tag team title match. Which, I still don't like these championship contender matches. It's like, I don't like the whole idea of you beat the champion and then you get the title shot. Like, let the challengers and contenders, let them earn wins and then put themselves into the title picture by earning wins. Like, I don't know. This is just really dumb. Seth Rollins came out to do his promo against Edge. And then the lights went off. And then the Brood music. Y'all remember the Brood? Gangrel, Edge, Christian. At one point, Gangrel, the Hardys. Like, the Brood music hit. And then it showed Edge on the Titantron, on the big screen. And then which after that, Seth Rollins gets doused and covered, which I thought it was going to be a bloodbath, but he got covered in some black substance. Like, I don't know if it was like tar or what, but they're saying that he got a brood bath. I mean, usually it's a bloodbath, but yeah, Seth Rollins got covered in some nasty looking tar. Like, I don't know what that was, but it was some black substance. But yeah, that was crazy. That was really crazy. He had more American, or not American Alpha Academy Street Profits. This time it was Otis versus Montez Ford, who was dressed up like he was ready to fight in a boxing match. Weird. Otis got the victory. You had a tag team match with Rick Boogs and Intercontinental Champion King Nakamura versus Commander Aziz and Apollo Crews. And actually, Rick Boogs got the pump handle power slam 1, 2, 3 pinning of Apollo Crews for the victory. And I'm like, dang. Like, Apollo Crews was your former Intercontinental Champion, and you don't even have King Nakamura get the pin. You have Rick Boogs pin him. I'm like, geez, dang. It's like, okay. Bianca Belair had to pretty much ran the gauntlet against Zelina Vega and Carmella. Of course, she beat Zelina Vega first, and then was able to beat Carmella afterwards, hitting both with KODs. And then John Cena, pretty much him and Roman Reigns were to have a face-to-face, and Roman Reigns added a stipulation, raised the stakes for their match for the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. But Roman Reigns' stipulation was that if John Cena beats Roman Reigns for the title and becomes champion, then Roman Reigns will leave the WWE. If he does not leave SummerSlam as Universal Champion, he will leave the WWE. And then he extended his hand. Cena shook it, and it looked like Roman Reigns was getting ready to hit Cena with an attitude adjustment. But then Cena countered for a roll-up pin, which, I don't even think it was a 1, 2, 3. But counter with a roll-up pin to pretty much send a message that, hey, don't try that mess with me. I'll pin you just like that. So, and that's how the that's how SmackDown ends. So that's your go home week for WWE. Now, to finish this off, let's look at the cards for this weekend. SummerSlam up first, Saturday, August 21st, 8 p.m. Let's look at this card. I'll probably just end up breezing through it, but let's see. Because there's a lot of these matches I just really do not care about. Raw Tag Team title match, AJ Styles and Omos versus RK Bro. Don't really care that much about this match, but something tells me RK Bro is going to win the tag titles. But even if they don't, honestly, I'm just not that interested in this match. But I think RK Bro will end up pulling it off and becoming the new Raw Tag Team champions. We got Eva Marie versus Alexa Bliss. I 1 gajillion % don't give a crap about this match. And honestly, the fact that this match is even on here helps make this SummerSlam one of the worst SummerSlams of all time. The fact that this match is even on the card and is happening. Not even a pre-show match. I don't even think it's even going to be a pre-show match. But the fact that this is even happening at SummerSlam is just it's so stupid. So Alexa Bliss gets the victory. If Eva Marie wins, no, I'm not even going not even going to keep talking on that. Moving on. Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal. Honestly, I really don't care. But I don't know. Drew has kind of had Jinder Mahal's number lately. So, heck, maybe Jinder Mahal wins. I don't know, but don't care. United States Championships on the line. Sheamus defends against Damian Priest. Okay, this, I like Damian Priest. So this, I may be a little bit invested in. But I think Sheamus does retain for now. I think he does retain for now. Edge versus Seth Rollins. This is really the main top match that I care about the most. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this match. But I think Seth Rollins ends up getting the victory. I think he ends up getting the victory. But who knows? I think it'll be a great match, and I hope they both get plenty of time. All right, the SmackDown Women's Championship match, which has been confirmed is happening. Bianca Belair defends against Sasha Banks. I expect to see a great match, just as great as their WrestleMania match, but once again, I see Bianca Belair retaining. I just really feel like you gotta keep the belt on Bianca Belair for a while. She just won it at WrestleMania. I think she retains and defeats Sasha Banks once again. We got the SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line. The Usos versus the Mysterios. Again, don't care. I guess the Usos retain. I really don't care about that match. WWE Championship on the line. Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. Don't care. I just hope that Bobby Lashley wins. If Goldberg wins, folks are probably going to riot. Then you got Raw Women's Championship on the line in a triple threat match. Nikki Ash versus Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte. Don't care. Don't care at all about this match. But something tells me something dumb is going to happen in some way, somehow. Nikki Ash is going to retain. But I don't know. Like I said, it's a match I don't care about. And then we got the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus John Cena, which, honestly, Reigns is going to win. Like, with that stipulation in place, Roman Reigns will get the victory. So, that's the SummerSlam card. Like I said, it's not really that great of a card. It's, like I said, this could potentially be on par with being the worst SummerSlam of all time. And honestly, after AEW Rampage had CM Punk, Vince and WWE may want to do something this weekend. Something impactful, something surprising, something like edgy, something. Otherwise, it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good. All right, and then Sunday, we have NXT TakeOver 36. Which, honestly, y'all, with what's been going on and a lot of talks and such, this might end up being the last great takeover we see before NXT just gets totally changed. I'll explain why in a little bit. So, there's a pre-show match, Ridge Holland versus Trey Baxter. Why is this even a thing? Like, why have this pre-show match? Like, this is dumb. You could have easily had the North American title on the line. You could have easily had the women's tag titles defended. Why is this pre-show a thing? Ridge Holland versus Trey Baxter? Really? Why? Why? Waste of a match. Total waste of a match. I guess Ridge Holland wins, but waste of a match. Total waste of a match. Or you could have another title match instead of this. It's kind of dumb. $1 Million Championship on the line. LA Knight defends against Cameron Grimes. If Cameron Grimes loses, Ted DiBiase becomes LA Knight's butler. Honestly, I think LA Knight does win, mainly because I think this will help pretty much set Cameron Grimes free, and Ted DiBiase becomes the butler for LA Knight. I just don't know if taking that title off of him and then just putting it on Cameron Grimes just like that is good. But I mean, it could happen. It could happen. But I must say LA Knight for now. But I won't be too surprised if I end up being wrong. All right. Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole. 3 stages of hell, 2 out of 3 falls match. The first fall, standard match, pinfall submission. Second, it's a street fight. And if it comes to a third, it will be a steel cage. This will definitely most likely come to a third fall, for sure. And honestly, I see Kyle O'Reilly winning it. And this is how they write off Adam Cole. Because it looks like he's not re-signing with WWE. So, I think this is how they write off Adam Cole. With Kyle O'Reilly getting this victory. But it should be great. It should be brutal. We have the NXT Women's Championship on the line as Raquel Gonzalez defends against Dakota Kai. I'm at a crossroads with this one because part of me wants Dakota Kai to win this match and become NXT Women's Champion for the first time. But do they want to keep this rivalry going by having Raquel win? That's another thing. So I'll be rooting for Dakota Kai because I love Dakota Kai. But something tells me Raquel Gonzalez is still going to retain. And then we got the NXT UK, the United Kingdom Championship on the line as Walter defends against Ilya Dragunov. This is their second meetup, their second meeting. And I believe in my heart that Ilya Dragunov is getting ready to end Walter's title reign and become the new United Kingdom champion. I think it's time. I think it's time. I think Ilya Dragunov is going to do it. And then you have NXT Championship on the line. Karrion Kross defends against Samoa Joe. Now, I'm kind of at a crossroad with this, but in all honesty, I think we're about to see Samoa Joe become a 3-time NXT champion and beat Karrion Kross. Because I think they're getting ready to push up Karrion Kross to the main roster, maybe permanently. And if that's so, Samoa Joe gets this victory. And you got to remember, this is Samoa Joe's first match back ever since a year and a half, I think. A year and a half. So yeah, this should be good. But this card, I'm definitely looking forward to this card. My only complaint is the pre-show match with Ridge Holland and Trey Baxter. I don't think it's necessary. when they could have replaced that with the North American title match or the women's tag team title match. So that's my only thing with that. But the word about NXT is that it looks like it's going to be getting rebranded with new logo, new lighting, and a focus mainly on young talent. And I thought that was what the Evolve project was supposed to be, but it looks like that got scrapped. And word is NXT Japan might have gotten scrapped. But here's the thing. Now, I love Triple H. He has done excellent with the NXT brand. A lot of memorable matches, a lot of memorable takeovers. But I really strongly feel like Triple H needs to let his voice out in full blast towards Vince McMahon. In all seriousness, for the sake of protecting his baby, NXT. Because let's be honest, NXT is Triple H's baby. And I just would like to see Triple H just stand up to Vince. I think the time has come. He needs to stand up to Vince. But I think what it all comes down to is the money. And as long as it is getting good money, he's probably on par with whatever Vince says and does, and Nick Khan as well. But I don't know. Well, that's just my opinion. But Nick Khan also stated that WWE being sold, that option is open if presented with the right offer. Now, if I'm willing to take a wild guess, I'm pretty sure WWE probably to purchase WWE would probably be somewhere between $5 and $7 billion. Would probably be a ballpark figure of how much WWE would be worth, but I don't know. But yeah, so that wraps up this episode of Pro Wrestling Talk. And like I said, I plan on doing a review, giving my thoughts on SummerSlam and on NXT TakeOver 36. I'll do separate videos for each, so don't worry. But let me know what y'all think about what was discussed tonight. Let me know what you think about the cards for SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver 36. What matches are you looking forward to? Are you excited for either of these pay-per-views? What do y'all think about CM Punk making his first appearance in an AEW ring via AEW Rampage? And it's official. He is all elite. And it looks like we're going to be getting CM Punk versus Darby Allin September 5th at All Out. What do y'all think about that? But leave your thoughts, likes, comments. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you catch all of my videos. Thank y'all so much for watching. This is Blitzball Champ concluding this Pro Wrestling Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed weekend, and I will see y'all very soon. Laters.